Hey everyone, this is Destiny and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about steps to finding shippers. Now, as a dispatcher, you're not allowed to go after a shipper, but when you get an owner operator, you can use their authority to inquire about different types of freight from shippers. So today we're going to talk about steps to get in a shipper. And we're going to talk about if you get asked this question, do you have dedicated lanes? We're going to discuss that briefly today. So, number one, you're going to prepare a script. You want to know what to say to the shipper. Before you get on the phone, write down something. Get your thoughts out. Write it on paper and say, okay, what are you going to say? Hello, my name is Destiny. I am calling because I see XYZ on your website. I wanted to know if we can work together. Do you need more trucks to move your freight? Something like that. You just want to pretty much know how you want the conversation to go. It's not going to always go that way, but you should want to know how you want it to go. Then you're going to prepare to send an email. You want to make sure that you know what you want to include in that email, because sometimes when you're on the phone with the shipper, they may ask you, or the logistics supervisor, they may say, well, can you send me an email? Sometimes they won't tell you what they mean. So I want you to get in the habit of every time you're on the phone with a shipper, even if the deal goes good or it goes bad, if you get to work with them or you do not, I want you to prepare like a cover letter. Like for a resume, that's going to be your resume of your company. Any companies that you have worked for, I want you to list them. All your drivers, I want you to list them. How long they've been driving for, all of that good stuff. I want you to compile it on a sheet. This can change the shipper viewpoint of you. Then I want you to start looking for shippers, right? I want you to know which ones you want to go after. It's several different ways to find shippers, and it's very easy, but I think a lot of the times we get mixed up, we get confused, and we get discouraged from going after shippers because we think it's really hard to find shippers, but it's not. And no, you don't have to use your Raycon and your BOL and still let broker shipper. No, you don't have to do that. It's so many shippers in this world, and I do not believe you work with all of them. So the very first thing to finding shippers, you can Google National Shippers List. It's updated, I want to say yearly, and you can use that list to call shippers and see if you can get some of their business. The second thing you can do is you can Google truck warehouses in your area. You can Google truck warehouses in your area. There are a lot of, like, for an example, Verizon, T-Mobile, they have trucking companies. A lot of them have their own trucks that move their freight, like Target. They have their own trucks to move their freight, but they do allow owner-operators to come in to get some of their freight. So you have to start thinking outside the box. And not only that, everything that we own and use is a shipper's information on it. For example, this jam, it has the shipper information right on there, okay? You can use this information, contact them, and a lot of the times they will give you an email address. Hey, email that email address and say, can you transfer me to, can I get the logistics supervisor or the warehouse supervisor information? And that's how you get in it. You have to start thinking outside the box, because if you want a dedicated lane, if you're a dispatcher and you want to get your owner operator some more work, a dedicated lane, you're going to have to start thinking out of the box. You're going to have to say, okay, what do I need to do? Okay, then you want to call them. Make sure before you call them, you know exactly what types of trailers they need. And if you do not, just ask them. Ask them how often will they need your truck? Where do that freight go? Then you want to ask about the payment terms. This is really big. You want to ask, would you be given a Raycon or something to prove that you actually did this load? Then you want to see about the payment terms, because a lot of shippers, if you don't know this, they will make you wait 15 to 30 days to get paid, and sometimes longer. So you need to be aware of how that shipper is going to pay you. And if you get asked this question, do you have dedicated lanes? Over the years I have been dispatching, I always tell drivers, yes, I can build you a lane, and I definitely can. But I do not just, when you first call my phone, I do not put anybody on something that or try to build something with them in the beginning. As far as if I have a dedicated lane for another driver, I don't just throw them on a dedicated lane. No, because that's what I got for that driver. Now, I work with a lot of different brokers, and if I know they have dedicated freight in that area, and I know this driver can use that freight, at first I want to see how they run. Because again, you don't want to mess up your relationships because you want to make money. And as I always say, if money is your motivation, you have none.